family and Ben Crump.
Was an exceptional guy. He was my love. He loved his daughter. He loved his family. He did not deserve to be taken out like that. They took my baby from me. I never thought I would have to bury my baby before you buried me. And I would never.
My day started, I looked at the time, and I had one on my phone. And then I had called my cousin. We were just talking for a little bit, then my mom called me. She called me saying that she wished she told me something that was in when she was at the house. And I was so confused. I was like, what is she talking about? And she said that my dad has been shot. My heart was so broken, I don't even know how to put it in words. Then I asked, because sometimes if you get shot, you might live off of that. When she told me he had been shot and dead and killed, I started crying. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know what to do. My heart was just so broken, and it just hurt so much knowing I can't see my father anymore. People, whoever is saying, oh, but he was a criminal. So what? He had a family. He had me.
Ben Crump, he has jumped on this bandwagon, and it's not because he's following the facts. No, what Ben Crump is doing, he is following the formula. Okay, Ben Crump has a formula that he follows, and he's remarkably consistent. We've seen it time and time again. First, you have to find a death involving a minority. That part is important, because if it's a white person, he has no interest in that. And then you have to find not just a minority, but it must involve an institution that can be portrayed as systemically racist. There's always a racist angle to all of this, because that's what really gives the incident and the story weight. And then what you have to do, a part of the Ben Crump ambulance chasing formula, you have to introduce a grieving family, right? You've got to put the grieving family before the public has even had enough time or information to reach an informed conclusion. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and put the baby out there. Let her talk. Put the mic in. Put the mama. Let the mama cry and wail and talk about him didn't do nothing. You got to do that. And, we're going to show it. Then what you need to do, you must use emotionally loaded language. This was an execution. This was a lynching. They just murdered him in cold blood. This was somebody's son. You have to say all of that before the investigation is complete. And then the last thing that you must do, boys and girls, you mustn't forget this part. You've got to minimize or just conveniently omit the evidence presented that this man has a history of resisting. So the likelihood that he really was resisting in this situation was probably true. You cannot mention the weapon. No, do not your eyes are deceiving you. No mention or discussion of the weapons. No mention or discussion of his criminal conduct or the drug use or all of the other complicating facts, because those facts are inconvenient. And then this part is super important. No good race hustle or fake civil rights hoax is complete unless you mobilize the activists. You have to mobilize the activists to put the political pressure on. They have to come with the chants. They have to come with the slogans. And, I forgot. You got to say his name, right? Remember, he needs a name to add to his fake victim race hoax Hall of Fame, right? You say his name. So chant. It's an incantation. I call it the Marxist musings and the Marxist incantations that indoctrinate you and almost have like a spell-like impact by saying their name, right? It's like an invocation. Then what's the other? It's got a whole recipe. You know, sometimes you cook something, you like, I know I'm missing something. What is that missing ingredient? You got to warn the city. That is the missing ingredient. You have to tell the city and issue that clarion call to say there will be no peace. No peace unless these authorities produce the outcome that we want. Don't forget that part. That was the missing ingredient. Ben Crump, he doesn't merely represent these clients within the framework of the legal system because he's interested in justice for these people. Like, they call him. So first thing, if a family's calling him, you like, okay, I already know the kind of people we dealing with. Brace yourself for the BS. It's coming, right? You got to brace yourself for the BS, especially if they call him. And usually, this is interesting. I would love to know if there's information to support if these families are reaching out to him to retain him, or if he's just showing up, oh, señorita Ruiz, me so sorry, me perdonme for your loss. You know, we know what happened to Papi. You see what happened to Papi? How they did him like that? I wonder if he shows up and offers his services while they're grieving, rubbing their back, and then explaining on the back end, you know, we'll go over all of the particulars and my office will send you the paperwork. Yeah, but we want to get justice. We want to get justice for, was it Corey? Is that his name? Yeah, Nolan is still on my mind. We're going to get justice for Corey, but, you know, we got to see, do you have any assets? Did Corey had any life insurance? Because, you know, we might be able to get somebody to pay for that funeral if y'all ain't got the money. And we'll help you, you know, set up the GoFundMe. And you know, if you'd be so inclined to, you know, make a donation, sometimes, not always, you know, if you feel led to the National Action Network, because, you know, we're gonna pull out all of our resources and our foot soldiers on the ground because we want justice for you. Like, I'd be curious to know how this works. I almost need something to happen so I can call Ben Crump and say, hey, I need your help, and find out if my case will qualify for representation from him. But one thing we know for certain is that Ben Crump is going to frequently appear to try cases in the street. Didn't we catch him? We caught him telling the truth. Like, he dry snitched and said he's trying this in the court of public opinion. Like, before we even get to the legal system, he wants to try it in the street before it can be examined in the courtroom. Because what's in the court, like the truth and the facts and evidence, doesn't matter. He'll just convert uncertainty and incomplete investigations. He'll turn that into an accusation, right? So if you're grieving, he needs your grief. And it's legitimate. Like, somebody's child and daddy died. Yes, he was a career criminal. And I'm trying to be sensitive, but when you a mama of somebody that stayed in and out of jail and in trouble, like, you know, this is coming. Like, this didn't catch, ma'am, I'm sorry, this didn't catch you by surprise. No shade. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. This content is for my audience. So it's the truth. All of us, not all of us, some of us actually come from well-adjusted families and we don't have a bunch of criminals, but everybody is familiar when you have members in your family that they're always in trouble. Like, you already know that little pistol starter, by the time he's 21, he gonna be locked up. You just know it. You know. Mamas know. They know. So if there's incomplete evidence from Ben Crump's perspective, he's going to turn that into racial certainty. This have to have been racially motivated. You know, they always shooting black men in the street. No matter what they do, you can't check cars while black, steal bikes while black, break into people's houses while black. You know, you can't do nothing but and be black. You can't even stay black and die. Like, you can't. Okay, that was funny. Okay, anyway, let me focus. Y'all pray for me. Oh gosh. All right. I gotta get to this clip with the family, because I said they are so wrong for putting this baby on camera, and this mama know that she full of it. Look, y'all can fight about it and battle me and keyboard thug it in the comments, but I'm about to say what I'm about to say. This man has lost his life. We get it. But we're tired of being gaslit and emotionally and racially manipulated by these stories, when these families who demonstrate that their character is trash, when they decide to get in front of a camera and want to convince the world that their terror on 2 feet, him didn't deserve it, right? Or, I mean, I know it was 40 cases and all of these convictions, and he always fight the police, but this time, him didn't deserve it. Like, when are we ever going to have a parent that stands in front of the camera and say, I am grieving for the loss of my son, and we tried to help him as much as we could and get him on the right track, but he's reaping the fruits of the seeds that were sown. And I want to tell other young people, don't be like this. Submit to authority. Obey your parents. Stay in school. Ask for help when you need it. But we are not going to exploit my son's death so that this ambulance chasing race baiting pimp right here can make money and entice me with the world's riches because I have a character and I'm better than this. No, they always find a family that's, look, well, how much? How much you offering? You need me to cry on cue? What you need me to do? We'll put the baby out there. She ain't know him that much. She just met him anyway. He ain't been paying no child support because he couldn't keep a job. Like, where's the lie? That is essentially what has to happen, or a narrative close to it, for these families to allow themselves to be exploited like this. These people are not victims. It is a reflection of their character. It is a reflection of who they are. When they call Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, that is already telling you that they are operating in darkness. They're incredibly deceived, or they're in on the grift because they're being promised what their wicked heart already desires. Yeah, I know y'all don't like that. It is what it is. Listen, this is not this baby's fault. I'm going to do my best to temper my commentary around her words. I will tiptoe a little bit more carefully than I would, because she is right. That was her father. Children don't ask to be here. They don't get to choose their parents. Him being her father is a truth claim, and it is unfortunate. But at the same time, we must speak truth to our children. Two things can be true at the same time. Like, she should be allowed to grieve and mourn and be shocked that the father, the man that she has known as her father, is no more. But if I were her mother, I would say, baby, you're going to grieve. We'll get you whatever biblical counseling that we can. But I am hoping that during this season, the Lord shows you the consequences of what living a sinful life will yield. And I pray that the Lord uses this for your good and his glory, and that you would cling to the Savior and be more painfully aware of your own sin and repent of it, because now your father can't. He's done a lot of bad things. It doesn't mean that he didn't love you, but he made some choices where he chose a life of crime before he chose you. And that's what makes this grief so hard and so difficult to deal with and get over. But we're going to get to it. We're going to get through it together. That's something that I probably would say if I were in this situation. But this is not this baby's fault. So we're going to move it aside from baby girl right here. And we're going to put the spotlight on the ambulance chasing, race baiting pimp right here, who is willing to exploit her genuine words about her father and put her on the camera in front of the watching world to present a narrative that he knows is not true. Also, that he can garner attention, stir up unrest, and do the bidding for the Democrat Party, which is, we need a distraction. All right, Ben. Now, you done went down there to Mississippi and you had all the necessary conditions for a racial uprising and you did not produce the results. So you got to figure something out. Head your behind up to Wisconsin and you better give us what we want. Okay? We need you to rile up the blacks. We already told you, not only is the Democrat Party broke, but black folks are thinking for themselves and they're not voting for us like they used to. We need you to come through for us, Ben. We've been there for you. We done paid you real good, allegedly. We need you to come through, Ben. Don't let us down. So what did Ben do? In the middle of the Nolan Wells investigation, after the autopsy comes out, after he declines the interview by Brandon Tatum, what does he do? Oh, we can't talk no more. And he done moved on. He done turned the page. Christine Wansley's probably like, well, what about us? He like, what about you? I'm over here now. There's cops involved with this. You ain't had no police. We don't know. Your boy probably drowned. That's probably what he probably saying to himself or just avoiding her calls. I don't know. Wasn't there. I'm just saying. Speculation. But here's how I'd like to engage. I don't need to see this anymore. Here's how I'd like to engage with this clip. Mama, your mom is your mom, okay? And unfortunately, sometimes as mamas, we don't see our children rightly because they're our babies. But this almost 40-year-old, okay, he was her baby. She's speaking of him affectionately because she's a mother. But I am calling so much cap on the breakdown at the podium when Consuela said, I never imagined me burying my baby. Ma'am. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. You don't even believe you. As many times as Corey has been in trouble, you are that mom that laid awake at night wondering if that night was going to be the night because he was always into something. You know how many times you done been down to the jail, been down to the court, got the phone call, Corey done showed out again, Corey did this. Like, at this point, you know your son. You know your son better than anybody else. You knew that 9 times out of 10, you would be burying Corey before he buries you. Nobody believes you, man. I wish these people would just be honest. Like I said, I wish we would get a mama who would issue the clarion call for young people to submit themselves to authority and stay out of trouble, because if you live a life of crime, this is what happens to you. Use my son's death as an example to do better, because this keeps happening too much. But instead, these people of no moral character and just they allow themselves to be exploited. They're not victims. Notice how I said they allow themselves to be exploited, because they could easily say, I don't want Ben Crump anywhere near around this. We already know what he's here for, and he's not here for us. No, you can't represent the family. No, I don't want you showing up to the press conference. I don't want your support, and I don't want you rubbing my back. I want you to go away. Go find another family to exploit, because we are not it. That's what a family of upright moral character would say. But if there's what's in it for me behind it, you'll shed a tear, you'll cry, you'll do a little of this and break down like you shocked. This woman is not shocked that this is how Corey's life ended. She has been well prepared and acclimated with his life of crime, because she says he was an exceptional guy And I'm like, yes, exceptional at a life of crime. He was good at it. Very well versed in it. Proficient, if you will. To say that I know this is your baby, but you're not shocked. There's the only way you could be shocked if you said, I had not been in Corey's life. We didn't really know what Corey was into. We've been estranged for 20 years. Had you said that, then I'd be like, yeah, she really is shocked. She didn't know. But if you're going to speak affectionately about your son this way and call him an exceptional guy, my follow-up question is, exceptional at what? Because here's what I think he was exceptional in. This is Corey's reported conviction categories. I just want to compile it and make it real simple for everybody to see. We have approximately 40 misdemeanors and felony convictions across at least 25 criminal cases. You right, ma'am. Consuela, you right. He was exceptional. Now I don't know if her name is really Consuela. She can be Maria. Pick one. I don't know. We have disorderly conduct. We have drug possession. So not the disorderly conduct and the drug possession isn't just a crime that didn't hurt nobody. This affects others. You are a nuisance and a whole public headache because you don't know how to act. You can't control yourself. You can't restrain your impulses. That's essentially what disorderly conduct is. Drug possession. That means you are involved in illegal activity, whether you are consuming the drugs or selling the drugs. Either way, this is harmful to a well-ordered society. Theft. Retail theft. That means, oh, we got a little entitlement here. I don't have to buy it. If I want it, I take it because I deserve. I don't care that this store had to buy inventory, and in order for us to exchange the good or the service, I got to pay for it. No, I'm going to just take it. So we got theft, retail theft, auto theft. Oh, we like taking property of high value that belongs to others. So you just stealing people's cars. Why? Because I guess you entitled and you figure you want it, so therefore you should have it. Battery. Oh, you don't comply with what I want, I just punch you in the throat. I just beat you down. I mean, the terroristic threats and the threats of violence against the police leads me to believe that he wasn't just writing checks that he couldn't cash. Battery, yeah, he probably would have followed through on some of those threats if given the opportunity. Ma'am, you're right. Your baby was exceptional. Invasion of privacy. This man does not respect boundaries. He's like, oh, I can't go there. Yeah, watch me. Watch me. Just invading other people's privacy. No boundaries, no restraints. I do what I want. Yes, he was exceptional, Consuela. Yes, he was. Oh, cocaine possession. He like booger sugar. Okay. We see you, Corey. Cocaine. We're not saying he used it. We don't know if he was selling it. All we know that it was in his possession. So whether he was using the booger sugar or selling the booger sugar was in his possession. Marijuana possession. Oh, Mary Jane. So at this point, I guess, you know what? Let's minimize the marijuana possession because everybody these days smoke weed. Shoot, people, grandma and Medea and Mimi's are out here smoking weed these days. So we're going to give him a pass on the marijuana possession. Let me guess. He had pressure in behind his eyes and it relieved the pressure from the glaucoma. Okay, yeah, we'll let that one slide. Robbery. Let's just move on. No sense in splitting hairs. That means he going to roll up on you. And if you got what he want, he gonna take it. He's going to take it. So not only is he stealing from businesses, this is from individuals. I'ma rob you because I want it. Strangulation. Oh, we likes to choke people out. You just squeeze until they can't breathe no more. That means if he's willing to strangle you, what stopped him? What kept him from taking somebody's life? Nothing. No restraints. Resisting bodily harm. I am assuming this combination here is the police are trying to restrain him. He's resisting and causing bodily harm at the same time. Looks like we have a pattern here. He don't submit and listen to nobody. If he's not submitting to the authorities, ma'am, he wasn't listening to you either. But you want us to believe he was exceptional. Exceptional at what? A life of crime? A whole menace. Repeated resisting and obstructing. So it didn't just happen one time and then afterwards, he's like, you know what? I learned my lesson. It is not fun fighting with the cops. My body was sore afterwards. And no, he's like, whenever I don't want to do it, I'm going to resist and obstruct. Threatening officers, we already covered that. So we have 8 convictions reportedly involving resisting, threatening, obstructing, or injuring law enforcement. And you, Consuela, want us to believe that he was exceptional. Yeah, okay.